the station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Freedom Chat, where real Americans speak their minds. And no topic is off limits. No scripts, no judgment, just honest conversation, raw, unfiltered, and free. If you're ready to challenge the narrative and celebrate true freedom, you're in the right place. This is Freedom Chat.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, guys. I got nobody watching right now, which is fine. Let's get right into the election night. And I really want to focus on New York. I think it's important to understand that I watched a video of one of the city officials in New York, and she said Mamdani didn't vote as a Democrat. He voted for himself, but he voted for himself as a part of a socialist party that he's also a part of. I didn't know that you could be a part of multiple political parties or organizations, but apparently you can if you're in New York. So, yes, he's a socialist. Yes, he is a communist. Yes, he's a Islamist. So, for those of you who go, oh, wait, Mark's being racist. A Islamic is a person who practices the art of, not the art, but the religion, if you want to call it that, of Islam. And I still am researching where the hell the term Muslim came from. But I decided that this is how I'm going to refer to him. He is an Islamic. He is of, if I'm not mistaken, Ugandan. He's from Ugandan, but his parents are Indian, if I'm not mistaken. I'll do a little bit more research on him.
I think his mom is Indian.
Yeah. So I'll do some more research to figure that out. We need to talk about the religion, if you want to call it that, of Islam. They have a very specific way of doing things, and one of the main things that they do not do is assimilate. Their mission is to expand and control everything. And for those people who think that they are in belief of a God, okay, you can believe that all you want, but I've gone through the Bible enough to know that while yes, there was killing, it is not mandated in the Bible anywhere that you kill people for what they are and who they are, because it is under the precipice that we were created with free will, i.e., we have a choice, and some of those choices are not good choices for us, but they're still our choice. For example, Dennis could become a drug addict tomorrow. I don't think Dennis will become a drug addict tomorrow, but Dennis could become a drug addict tomorrow, and that would destroy his body. And his body is a gift from God, and he's going to destroy that gift from God. God has no say in what he does. That's what free will is. God has no say. God gifted human beings with free will. It's what
you'll do the right thing.
Here's the thing. People don't do the right thing. That's one of the biggest issues we have. Islamic people, especially extreme Islamic people, do not do the right thing. Now, this is going to be controversial. I don't care. You just can't make up what happened in New York. I'm going to try to dig up at some research while I let you guys kind of have your say about what I just said. So.
Well, I've been reading several reels by people who know more about the Islamic faith, and none of it has anything to do with being assimilated into our culture. Um, Particularly they're more uh, like the mullahs of Iran are they're far leftists, I would say. I don't think that's the right term, but they're very, very uh, want everything only their way. They've changed uh, Iran from a country that was fairly modern at the time when they took over, thanks to Carter, and
Carter.
and they're now like a 700 beast AD country. Well, maybe 900 AD country.
Right.
They're
Dennis,
quite.
Dennis, what's your? I want your take.
Well, I mean, a lot of this, the word free or the words free stuff, I think, attracted a lot of the younger people.
I'm going to get to that.
But you know what? A lot of this I've read in a couple of different places that a lot of the uprising of these Muslim people in power or trying to obtain power in our government, a lot of it's attributed to, or some of it anyway, is attributed to just the not the open borders, but just the immigrant policy, which I believe Trump's trying to knock that number down.
Yeah. Okay.
Cats fighting. But
yeah, I was just getting ready.
It's like 125,000 a year or something like that, and he's trying to, which I think is a smart thing to do. Limit that to, like, I think it said 7,900 a year. I mean, I don't know if it's temporary or what, but I think till we can develop a better vetting process, that might not be a bad idea.
So here's one: youth, the young voters. Of the young voters, young women, young voters overall, 78% voted for Mamdani. All voters was 50 to 42% voted for Mamdani. So, I mean, he won it going away. Young men, 67%. Young women, 84%. Black youth, 84%. Latino youth, 86%. White youth was 66%. Okay, so that's just the youth. But the other thing is the percentage of people who voted for him who were new people. We're talking people who had not been a part of New York City longer than 20 years, and then 15 years, and then 10 years. The largest number of people who voted for Mamdani that had been were like within the past 5 years, and they came out in droves. I was listening to Buck Sexton and Clay Travis this weekend. Buck Sexton talked about a book that was written by a communist on how do you take over a country through radicalism and communism. And one of the things that he said, and if you look at Mamdani's campaign, what this guy said is if you really want to take hold, especially of the youth, you have to make it fun. You have to make it a event where people go and they have a good time as well as get basically indoctrinated. And this is where it kind of comes full circle for me. The Trump movement was a twofold thing. Trump made the events enjoyable, and Trump spoke to people who had been ignored and marginalized for decades. So he made it fun, which drew people in, but then he also spoke the language of people like, quite frankly, like you, me, and Mom. And that was a blueprint. And Mom Donnie, much more dangerously, followed that blueprint pretty damn close. Here's what's going to happen in New York over the next what's the term for the mayor? 5 years, 4 years?
I think it's 4.
Yeah, 4 years, and then he gets to run for election one more time. They're going to get driven into the ground. Mamdani has already threatened apartment complexes and apartment complex management.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Use your prediction skills and tell me about how long do you think before it's like totally in the ground?
My prediction?
Yeah.
Well, let me see. He doesn't have a lot of authority. We'll kind of throw that out there. Within the next 10 months.
So a year or less.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And keep in mind, we've got 2026 midterms.
Right.
Which this midterms, and I don't know how Mom feels about this, but this midterms coming up represents the single most important midterms in the history of this entire country, and that's not hyperbole. If you see just how much they hate that man, and if you think for 2 seconds that they will not impeach him again, you better guess again. They won't even hesitate to draw up articles of impeachment if they get control of the House. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't deserve that. I got into it with my bandmate about the shutdown, and I wanted to talk about the shutdown today because now they're into 15 votes of no. And then Schumer comes out Friday and creates this lame-ass proposal to just keep the Obamacare stuff open for a year. And then we'll vote yes. And he and I got into it. And I told him, I said, it's the Democrats voting no. You can't put this on the Republicans. Well, why are the Republicans coming to the negotiating table? Well, because they don't have to. Because they do hold the majority. But the only way they can push this thing through at this point, in my eyes, is nuking the filibuster on economic and on budgetary policies. And I'm 100% behind it now. You, instead of acting in good faith, you didn't. And I even told him, I says, the last 4 years, the Republicans played ball right along with the Democrats with this, and it's the same continuing resolution. It's not like it's a new thing. And he goes, well, yeah, because the last the last time it happened was under Trump also. And I says, I wonder why that is, Lance. I wonder why it's that way. I wonder why the last time it was a filibuster, it was freaking Democrats that were running the filibuster or running the last time the government shutdown was under Trump. But that was because the Democrats were not willing to play ball. And part of this is due to Trump derangement syndrome. That's an absolute fact. And anybody who is watching it wants to make a comment, by all means, knock yourself out. Because I'll tell you, if you make a comment that I don't agree with, I'm going to ask you to prove it. But I can prove everything I'm saying right now and not even blink. And we're going to get back into the Muslims because they are gaining more control. And, instead of actually governing, they are ruling the areas that they have control. Just look at Dearborn. Dearborn is not a free city anymore. It might be a part of the United States, but trust me when I tell you, it's controlled entirely by people who have no respect for anybody other than other Muslims. They will look at you nicely. They will smile at you nicely. Look, I'm friends with a couple of Muslims and I'm just going to call them that because it's too damn confusing to do it any other way. But I have a couple friends who are Muslim, and they are very nice to me, and I am very nice to them, but I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Right.
Okay? Because their belief structure is not based around freedom and free will. It's just not. And it's just like Mom was saying. It's just not. They don't believe in joining. They believe in forced subversion and submission. That's what they believe in.
And part of their indoctrination is Taqiyya.
It's right, and that is all the way through the Quran. It's like that.
Yep.
Okay. Back to the filibuster. Did you know the longest filibuster in United States history was 75 calendar days? It took place in 1964, and who do you think it was that held the filibuster in place? It'd be the Democrats. They were trying to block the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
Why would they do that?
Oh, God, no. Beats me. But it's just proof that they are the ones that like to put political pressure on other people. They're the ones who have no problem hurting the American people. And for any of you out there who are watching that is saying this is Trump's fault, go pack sand. All right. I promised Joel that I would not cuss, and I'm not going to cuss. So you can go pack sand. Because unless you can give me 100% proof that Trump was responsible for these people, with the exception of the three who have continuously, shockingly, one of them was Raphael Warnock out of Georgia. Mom, I thought he was a full-on socialist, but he's right there, right alongside Fetterman and the third person that have been voting yes. And the thing is that they have no interest in playing ball. Okay, I mean, don't kid yourself. They have no interest in playing ball. If they did, they would have already voted yes. And the government would be open, and TSA would be running without a hitch, and SNAP would be running without a hitch, and all these programs that the Democrats are whining and complaining about. You're hurting the American people. No, you're hurting the American people. And I'm going to name names. Chuck Schumer, you're hurting the American people. In our state, John Hickenlooper, you are hurting Coloradans right now. Bennett, you are hurting Coloradans right now. Okay? This is just a reality. People need to get their heads out of their backsides and really start becoming more aware of who's on our side. And when I say our side, I mean the American people's side. Rand Paul voted against the senators in Senate not getting paid through this process. Why would he do that? That's one of the reasons that vote was a lost vote. I personally think that it should be a matter of policy that if you shut down the government, your check is the first one that gets shut off.
Definitely.
Because you're the ones in the position. They are the ones in the position to make things move. And I think people need to understand that. As much as they are supposed to be public servants, they are in an obscene amount of power. And that's just the truth. All right, I have gone on long enough. We need to do our break. And we'll come right back, and then I'm going to give the floor to Mom.
Those are cool tats, man.
Oh, for real. Thank you, bro. You see the Cobra?
And what is this one?
Oh, this? That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
Dad?
No?
Like not even a single letter?
No way. Not me.
Well, I love him. I think he's great.
Okay.
I think he's a real winner, Casey. If I were you, I wouldn't use protection.
Gotta love it.
Oh, so much fun. Okay, Mom. Fire away.
Well, let's see. So which one did you want? Where did you want me to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about. Hey, if you want to talk about Obamacare, because I've got some things
Oh,
up
that's
here
a
that I
good one.
just
Here, I'll start with that. First of all, the Congress does not have to do Obamacare. It doesn't affect them one damn bit. Pelosi, you're good at that. Thank God you're gone. We'll sing that song. Thank God you're gone.
Amen.
Or gonna be gone. But Obamacare is the way that they really intended to put everybody on probably Medicare eventually and make it a one-payer system. The problem is that it doesn't really work. I've never had to do Obamacare, but I've talked to people that have, like Dana and Christine, for two, and what they have to pay for a policy is insane, and they're useless, and unless it's a catastrophic illness. So, what did they actually gain? If anybody was actually serious in the Congress, and that's Hakeem Jeffries and his bullshit I heard the other day, about doing anything about it, they would be trying to put together an actual policy on Medicaid or whatever it is and get rid of Obamacare. But they won't touch it because there's way too many kickbacks, I think, and too many loopholes so the illegal aliens can be on it. And they are, because it's administered by the state. In Colorado, they definitely are paid. So that's my take on Obamacare.
Okay.
Dennis,
I'm
what do you
doing a
got
little
to
bit-
say about it?
I'm doing a little bit of research. Dennis, it's your turn. Take a shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think any of it has ever been, good for the country. That basically, Obamacare just made everything higher priced and a lot less benefits for the person paying the price. I mean, I've heard of people, like, for a family, a guy paying like $3,300 a month for health insurance for his family. I don't know how many is in his family. I think it's three or four, including themselves. But I mean, $3,300 a month. I mean, yeah, the guy's probably making good money, but whatever you're making, it should never be, past a certain percentage of what your income is. And if you're $60,000 a year, family of four, and you're paying, $300 or $400 a pay period, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything good about that. For one thing, it drove many doctors out of business, and it put a real strain on the hospitals. Hospitals have had a much more difficult time staying in business because it's harder for them to get paid because people come in.
So this is that's one thing I want to make sure that people understand. Trump posted this yesterday. Stock price increase from March of 2010 to November of 2025. United Health Group went in 2010. It was at $25.66 a share. November 2025, that's this year right here, $327.74 per share. That is an increase of 1,177%. Cigna, $32.01. That was 2010. Now, $295.41, 822% increase. Anthem, Elevance Health Incorporated, $61.90 in 2010, $318 today. Let me see here. How about Humana? Everybody's heard the word has heard of Humana. $47.48 per share. $279.92. That would be an increase of 490%. Molina, $15.38. That was per share. If you want to invest in healthcare, you probably should have done it in 2010. Because here's where it would be now. Your value would be up $147.46. That's an increase of 859%. Sentient, $5.52. It was one of the smaller ones. It went up 604%. Today, it's sitting at $38.84. So if you were going to invest, that'd be the one to invest in because you're investing low. Unless Trump can figure out how to get this under control. Aetna was at $30.50 a share. Today, it's at $212, and that's where we're at. So if you take a look at that, you sit there and you go, holy crap, man. Health companies and insurance companies are famous for basically raking everybody over the coals with their premiums. And then, of course, the healthcare industry, they at least have to pay some part of the medical bill because that's what you're paying them for. But as far as the auto and the home industry, there's a lot of times when they'll fight you to the bitter end to take care of you. So you have to kind of ask yourself, how did you do that? How did this happen? Does anybody have a reason why something like this would happen? Well, I have a theory. I love capitalism because I think capitalism is the best way that a society can move forward. Those of you who are socialist and or communists can counter me if you want, but my counter is capitalism, for the most part, doesn't intentionally create human suffrage and death. I've done enough research to know that I can prove that. Socialism and communism, that's how they gain control, is through suffrage and death. So the downside to what we're looking at now is that even though it's a free market society, at least with industries such as, what do we want to call this industry? The insurance industry, the health industry, I think that they are all one and the same in that the concept is you buy into them so that they can pay the bigger part of the bill. Is that not my understanding? Am I wrong in that?
Sounds about right.
Am I right? Or
Well, that was the point. That was what it was.
That was its intent.
That was what it was supposed to be to start with.
Its intent was that it's good and or service, because that's what capitalism is. You buy a good or a service, and a person who has the good in their service will make a profit off of that good and or service, right? So if you don't put any regulations on things like that, now I'm going to say this because this makes perfect sense to me. Standard Oil was a monopoly, and they have prevented these companies from becoming monopolies. But they haven't done anything about regulating the amount of money they require people to pay, which is why the Affordable Health Care Act is a scam and a sham, because it's anything but affordable. They didn't put any regulations on this, so there's no limit to what they can charge. But they don't always have to pay when you go to the doctor. They can actually turn you down. Yes, that is true. They actually can turn you down. They can look at your case and they go, well, your case doesn't meet this criteria or that criteria. It's the equivalent of me getting eye drops for corrective purposes and having it come out of my pocket because TRICARE doesn't cover it because it's considered optional. See,
Right.
it isn't that I need corrective. I do a little. It's that it's the way I go about getting my corrective eyesight that is optional, because I otherwise would require a freaking pair of glasses, or God forbid if they could ever figure out a way to get me to put contacts in, it'll never happen. I don't like shit anywhere. Excuse my French. I don't like anything around my eyeballs. It drives me batty to get anything around my eyes.
Right there with you.
So the eye drops work really well for me because I could just drop a gel or a drop of whatever it is, and my eyes they correct themselves through the reaction to whatever it is that I'm putting into my eyes. And I wish that I could get TRICARE to cover that, but they won't cover it because it's considered a selective optional, as opposed to, hey, you can say the same thing about glasses. I could choose not to wear glasses. I do choose not to wear glasses, corrective lenses, but that's optional. So by their definition, none of these products should be covered, or all of these products should be covered. That's the problem that I've got with this system. And I didn't like the fact that the Democrats voted that damn albatross of a nightmare of a bill in the middle of the night. And I have always said this: if we want to talk transparency, we can talk transparency all day long. Someone wants to challenge me and say whatever they want to say to me about, oh, the Trump administration, they lie about everything. Well, you know what? None of you morons out there who have said that about him have come up with anything that even remotely resembles concrete evidence and facts. You just listen to CNN or MSNBC, and we're going to talk about those people too here in a minute. And you listen to them, and they're the ones who you key on as, oh, well, they're the ones telling the truth. No. I mean, dare I remind everybody that Rachel Maddow has yet to admit she was wrong about the the hospital ship Comfort and the hospital ship Mercy. The woman is a pathological liar. Hey, the last time I also checked, Adam Schiff hasn't even remotely come clean about the lies he perpetrated on the American people about a president of the United States colluding with the Russians, which we now know with ample evidence was a complete and total attempted coup of the United States. They literally attempted to overthrow a sitting president, and they never even blinked. They never even hesitated. So forgive me if I don't believe the people on CNN like Dana Bash. I will just go right out there. Forgive me for not trusting you people that are in the media. I'm going to circle back like Jen Psaki.
Oh, God. Peppermint Patty. Peppermint Patty. That's what Dan Bongino liked to call her.
Here is 2021. In 2021, the Democrats wanted to nuke the filibuster. The government isn't shut down because of Trump. It's shut down because Democrats want $1.5 trillion for people who broke our laws. Nuke the filibuster. Implement the President Trump's agenda now. If you want to save this country and get us all, as I will quote from the movie Jaws, get all of us back on a pay-in basis, then nuke the filibuster. For those of you who live in districts and in states where you can make that happen, because I'm telling you, these two feckless senators that we have in Colorado. Once again, I'm going to call them both out. That would be John Hickenlooper, who used to be the governor of our once great state, and Bennett, who wants to be the governor of our now virtually failed state. If you call either one of their numbers, you're going to get a answering machine. I guarantee you will not get a call back because I called and left a message on that answering machine with my phone number, and I got crickets. So,
Of course.
it's gonna take the Republican Party. They've shown a great amount of backbone by not giving in to Schumer and his crap.
I finally got an answer from Hickenlooper.
Yeah, dude,
By
wait,
email.
Mom, was it a reach around? Mom, was it a reach around?
What?
Did they give you a reach around while they were giving it to you up the backside?
It was a really thing about how he's doing the right thing. Basically.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a reach around.
He just really told me that basically, yep, you're stupid, I'm smart.
Yeah, he told
that kind of
he
thing.
he basically told you that.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
You should just shut the hell up and let them run the country as they see fit. Democrats claim Republicans are the
Well,
blame
let's
for
see.
all things crap. Go ahead, Mom.
I guess it's longer than I thought it was, but it
Well, go
doesn't
ahead,
say
Mom.
anything.
I don't care. Go
Mostly
ahead. Read
about.
Read it, Mom.
Well, the first sentence is about thank you for blah blah blah. All right. October 1st, the federal shutdown. Nobody wanted it. So the funding bill that would have addressed health care costs. It kept the government open, but because Republicans refused to work with us, it didn't pass. CARE Act's enhanced premium tax credits. Healthcare in Colorado increased an average of 28% in 2026. Nationwide, 20 million Americans will be at risk for having their health care premiums more than double. 4 million could even lose their coverage altogether. Americans already pay too much for health care, and this increase would devastate families across the country. Whose fault is that, Hickenlooper? With that in mind, we won't support a government funding bill that does nothing to protect America's health and lower prices. We were proud to vote for a continuing resolution to fund the government and reverse those damaging health care cuts. Unfortunately, Republicans stood in the way of that legislation. We will continue to oppose any funding packages that do not address rising prices, especially health care. We always value hearing directly from Coloradoans and hope you will continue to share your thoughts for Colorado and our country. For more information, please visit the website. Thank you for reaching out. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. Basically, they want that money big time.
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
For
Dennis, what's your position?
they want the spending money big time for the illegal aliens. Dennis, what's your take?
Yeah, I think that they don't want to see anything succeed related to the Republican side. And that's out of spite, whether it's good for their society or not. I don't even think they care. They just want to make sure that everything that's good, that we think is good and we know is good, they don't like it. They would rather see it all of us fall, rather than most of us rise.
That's pretty much where we're going about.
Yeah.
And here's just a post from Senator John Kennedy. We're arguing about cutting $5.5 million for the LGBTQ advocacy in Uganda. That's what they're arguing about, because that's one of the provisions that is being taken off of the table that the Democrats want on the table. Why do you want that on the table? Are you not American senators? Because right now, just keep in mind this. Hakeem Jeffries is doing his level best to blame the Republicans in the House, because guess what? The government shut down. The Republicans in the House are home. All right? Only the Democrats, like the wonderful little hive minds that they are still in D.C. Come to the negotiating table, they say. My question is, name one time that you actually were willing to go to the negotiating table when you had control of the House. I can give you that answer. Not very many times. Because you had control. This has always been my problem with a majority in either one. Okay?
Can I say something, Mark?
Yeah, go ahead.
That issue you just brought up about the LGBTQ thing in Uganda or whatever. You know what? If the government and those that create stupid shit like that would quit pissing away all that money, that those optional eye drops would probably be affordable and or free to you.
You know, things that make you say, huh?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, a fifth grader could probably tell them that.
So here's the list of the shutdown demands, and this was from day 17 of the shutdown. $24.6 million to Honduras climate resilience. I'm going to say that again. Honduras climate resilience. They wanted this bill to include $24.6 million, not for American families, not for American homes, not for American businesses, but for freaking climate resilience in Honduras. Not done yet. $13.4 million for, you would think, American, right? They're American senators. For those of you who I'm trying to get through to your freaking skulls, this is what they wanted this money to go to. These are American senators holding our government hostage over $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. Mom, do you know anybody from Zimbabwe? Mom, do you know anybody in Zimbabwe from Zimbabwe? Yeah, it's in Africa. But do you know anybody there? Do you know anybody there?
No.
Have you ever engaged civilly, Dennis, with anybody from Zimbabwe?
You know, I don't even think I could spell Zimbabwe.
I'm telling you, I could barely read it.
Yeah.
But we're not done. I already told you about the 3.9 million LGBTQ plus democracy grants in the Balkans. 3.9 million to the Balkans, specifically for LGBTQ, whatever the flip you want to call it, plus democracy grants. I want anybody who supports this to explain to me, like I am a 3-year-old, why in the hell any money should be going anywhere but our own infrastructure. Fix our roads, fix our tunnels, fix our bridges, build more ships. Every penny that man, Schumer, is wanting to hold completely hostage over could be going to make this country greater than it's ever been.
I'd be I'd be impressed if somebody actually came on and said they've been to the Balkans many times and that they actually needed that program. Same with Honduras.
Well, as far as
so, here's some
I can
comments
tell,
from. Hang on a second. Here's some comments from one of the people that are watching us. Paul Cotreau, trash government healthcare. Agreed, 100%. When my wife was on it, good luck with doctors, and you better know what you are going to make the next year with your payout, because Big Back Tim to do with your taxes, and then he posted this one: how much of a kickback are these politicians getting from insurance companies to shut down the government? Paul, all of those are really, really, really good questions. The unfortunate thing is nobody knows. It's just like when Joel asked me where the tariffs went. I was able to provide him with the answer. Here's the sad part about that answer. Tariffs go into the same pool of money that our income taxes go into. The government then uses that money to basically run the government, run our country, right? Well, they don't have to tell us where they're sending that money, which is one of the reasons why this whole argument that's going on with this shutdown is so maddening, because all we want is for transparency. It is, after all, our money. The last time I checked, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It's our money. It's supposed to be for us. So I get a little frustrated when I hear people like Lance Christensen, bleeding heart leftist, who doesn't get this. And we're going to get into what one of the other parts of his conversation with me when we come back, because I really wanted to talk about the problem that we have with leftists, because if you got to learn your enemy, folks. You got to learn your enemy, all right? So we'll come right back, and here we go. Bang.
What happened to you? Ruben, I'm in a situation here. We have to leave now. Well, no, can we stay a couple more minutes? But dude, no, this is serious. I just sharted. I don't know what that means. I tried to fart and a little shit came out. I just sharted. All right, let's go.
There's a car behind us.
Joel, you got to get some more of that out, buddy. We got to have some more goofy things.
Oh, I agree.
We need to be able to laugh a little. All right. So one of the things that Lance was talking about was the fact that the Republicans aren't willing to negotiate. And my response was they did negotiate it. They negotiated it in the House, and then the Senate Democrats shut down the government because they wanted more. Well, that isn't negotiation. That's simply saying we want more. And I don't blame anybody for saying no. Let's leave things the way they are. Let's hash this out over the next 7 weeks, which is what was supposed to happen, and move forward. Well, when one side wants more, and most of it, as I read to you, was completely off your rockers, insane. No, we're not. No. Stop spending our money on things we don't want you to spend money on. How hard is this to understand? And I think that's the biggest thing what the Republicans are talking about.
I don't recall ever being asked to vote on climate resilience in Honduras. What the F?
Hey, and never mind the fact that Bill Gates came out earlier this week and said that climate change is not the threat to the world that he had been barking about for how many freaking years.
That was a nice 180.
Yeah, hey, just to make himself look like he's at least marginally rational, right?
Exactly.
Climate change equals cash cow for somebody.
Right, Bill Gates. So he got into it about. We started about that. You know, this whole shutdown right now. This idiotic shutdown, and I said, look, I've told you numerous times that we need to take care of our own house, America first. and he brought up Israel. And I was like, this is a leftist talking point. Israel, quote unquote, genocide in Honduras, in Gaza. Number one, if anybody can prove to me that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, show me unbiased, objective, not subjective proof. There, that's it. I'm not even. If it gets brought up again, I'm just gonna say, quit being stupid, quit being brainwashed idiots, because that's what you are. And I says, look, yes, I don't think that any more money should be going to Israel at this current point in time. I believe that you can continue to provide them with weapons and ammo, but I don't believe that any kind of economic aid is warranted at this time, when right now, you can't drive anywhere in this city without looking at homeless people on the side of the street begging for whatever it is that they're begging for. And some of these people are professional panhandlers, and God bless them for being that. But this is what I see every day as a bus driver. So we went from that to the border. And this is what I'm going to tell any one of you people who are bleeding hearts. I do not care if you came across this country legally. Now I'm going to say something, because I did read this before. It is a civic crime, a civil crime, that you go across the border. So it is not, it does is violation of Title 8 of Section 8. And we can delve into this next week if we want, and I'm happy to do so. I don't care. I don't care. My country is a sovereign country with freaking borders.
According to Don Lemon, misdemeanor is not a crime, by the way.
No, it is a crime.
That's so you know.
Jaywalking is a crime.
I know.
You can get a ticket and get fined for it.
Right.
Don Lemon and Lance Christensen can once again, I almost said a really bad word there, D and Mom, can go pack sand. Seriously, go pack sand. It is a crime. It doesn't matter that it's a misdemeanor. It doesn't matter that it's civil in nature. No, it is a direct violation. And for those of you people who think that that ICE and DHS are inhumane, you need to go online and you need to read some of the penalties for crossing the border illegally. I'm sick and tired of hearing people go, they're separating families. So what? If I had gotten a DUI and my kids were in the back seat of my car, I would have been separated from my family. Well, that's different. No, it's not. You break our laws, you break our sovereignty rules, and you get what you get. And oh, by the way, none of these people are going to jail unless they get convicted in a court of law. Then they get a jail, and then they get deported after they do their jail time. But if you are in this country legally and ICE picks your happy little behind up, you go to a detention center to be processed back to your home of your country of origin. That is not jail time, and then, yeah, they're detaining you because they don't want your dumbass running around our country anymore. And I don't want you running around our country anymore. Come on and follow our laws. And anybody who wants to sit there and tell me you just don't care, you're right. Congratulations. You are correct. I do not care. I'm sick of watching it. I'm sick of seeing it. It drives me batty to hear Americans talk like those people who crossed our borders are more important than we are. They're not. Sorry about that.
Just point out that at least some states are trying to get illegals who have driver's license that they shouldn't have out of the long haul truck driving.
Amen.
Which, of course, you and I, we all know here in Colorado, many of the problems on I-70 have got to be caused by idiots who don't know how to drive or read the signs.
Amen. But see,
if a state if a state is letting people have driver's license like that, technically, couldn't you consider that premeditated murder? I mean, like potential premeditated murder, even.
At least
I
accessory.
think Florida is one attorney general wants to sue California for the mess that truck driver did in Florida.
Mom,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was looking for a better life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's talk about another thing. That Proposition 50 that California crammed down everybody's throat Tuesday. Hey, congratulations, California! You have proven to be the dumbest people in the country next to New York. Congratulations. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I appreciated the fact that you are dumber than my state being pretty freaking stupid. And I just wanted to say congratulations. Why am I bringing this up? Because this is going to be the last thing we talk about. They always talk about threat to democracy, and we always have to keep reminding them, but we're a constitutional republic. Just stop. But here's why they want to call it they're talking about the Texas redistricting, and I believe Ohio redistrict a couple of their districts that potentially put more Republican seats into play. This is what drives me up a wall. You cannot sit there and say Texas is simply trying they're trying to uneven the playing field. That's what they're doing with these redistricting. Number one, I don't know why they're doing it. I don't even care. They're within their right within the United States Constitution and the state constitution to do it. Just because it isn't going the Democrats' way doesn't mean that it's not something that should be done. But let's go down the laundry list. In Massachusetts, 36% of the state population are Republican. You know how many seats they get? Goose eggs.
None, yeah.
Connecticut, 42%. Maine, 46%. New Hampshire, New Mexico, 46%. New Hampshire, 48%. Rhode Island, 42%. Virginia, VT, Vermont, 32%. Hawaii, 38%. Delaware, 42%. All right, so let's take a look at it. The Republican seats, because of the way their districts, because of the way their voting districts are, all of them, 0 seats. Every one of them, 0 seats. Why is that? Look at Colorado. And Colorado may redistrict again, and then we are really screwed. Seriously, we are really screwed if they do what they want to do. Out of the 121 House seats in the 6 states listed below, so I'm going to read the 6 states that have 121 House seats. California is 38% Republican. Only 9 of the 52 seats are represented by Republicans. In Illinois, 44%, only 3 out of the 17. New York, only out of the 43% Republicans, only 7, which is a 26% number. Maryland, 34% Republican, only 1 out of 8. 46% Republican. This is New Jersey, 3 out of 12. And then you got Oregon, which is 41% Republican, yet only 1 out of 6 seats are Republican representatives. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they gerrymandered the living crap out of their districts and out of their districting, and they made sure that even though there was 46%, that the areas where they had the greatest population were counteracted by the way they district the area. That's what gerrymandering is. Gerrymandering is creating a district to give your party a unfair advantage. So how do we fix that? Beats the crap out of me. I don't know. I just know I don't like what I see. And I don't like the fact that our government is run by cheaters on both sides. Republicans do it too. I ain't blind.
Yep.
I call it balls and strikes, folks.
And it is a necessary. The redistricting is necessary because populations do move around and change, and that's why population in one area, say Fort Collins, I'm just taking an example, may have at one time only had a third of the number of people that they have now. So whenever they reached a certain number of people, it had to be redistricted
Right. And Mom,
to support the fact that there's more than one party.
right, Mom.
Or it depends upon who's doing the redistricting.
That's what I'm getting at. I believe that if you're going to, if this is the issue at hand is what party, then you take the party out of the equation. Once again, this is, and I hate doing it the way I'm about to do it, but George Washington was right. Party and party loyalty is going to cost this country everything, because the people who, when a party gains control, it's been proven time and again that they can be abusive as hell. I will be honest about this. The Republicans are not nearly as abusive as the Democrats are. The Democrats are all about power. I believe that at least 85 to 90% of the Republicans are really about serving their constituents and their country. I just believe that. I don't believe that they're perfect, but I don't believe that anybody's perfect. I just believe that this is a reality. So I'm going to do one more thing, and then we're going to get off, because I've got errands to run. I've got dishes to do. I've got a cat I need to groom. I really don't like that cat. But
sounds like my afternoon.
Yeah, still got to take care. I got to do some things. But I just want to talk about ICE and this whole immigration issue. These are the same nut jobs. I'm just going to put this out. The same nut jobs who are currently telling everybody that ICE is evil and ICE is that and ICE is everything else. Funded ICE from 2023 all the way to 2016. So that would be the 8 years, even more years, that the Democrats helped and made sure that ICE was funded. In 2017, I wonder who was the president in 2017. The Democrats denounced ICE for 4 years. In 2021, the Democrats started funding ICE again. Who was the president in 21? Nobody knows, because we know it wasn't Biden.
He was a real sleepy guy. That's all.
Yes, he was. But 2022, 23, and 24, they broke funding records for ICE. Well, if you broke funding records for ICE, why in the hell did 11 million illegal aliens cross our borders?
And where'd that money go? Where'd that money go?
Good question. And then 2025, we have a new president. Not going to name his name because I don't want to give anybody a heart attack, but Democrats denounced ICE. So this is what you get when you lose control. You do everything you can to make sure that the control that you're trying to eliminate is really eliminated. So those that's just a couple things, man. Just a couple things we talked about. For those of you who watched, for the guy who made the comments, Paul, thank you for making comments. If you want to come on, you can send me a private message through Freedom Chat's Facebook page, man, and I'll be happy to get you on the stage to express yourself.
That'd be good.
I'm going to say this, and I know that my mom and Dennis both feel very much the same way. We want conversation. We want dissenting conversation. I would love to have a conversation with a leftist, a communist, more than anything in the world, so that I can put them in their place. which is at the bottom of the trash heap, because that's where they belong. And that does include a certain person who shall not be named today, but he was on our show a couple of times. And I would like nothing more to prove to them that my values, true American values, are greater than that of their quote-unquote Democrat. That's an oxymoron, Democrat socialist. I would love for nothing more than to bury you in your garbage. So that's just me. I'm pretty sure that my mom would love to take a couple of shots at some of these people. And I know Dennis would.
Every day, twice on Sunday, baby.
Dennis sends me messages all the time, and I'm just like, man, I ain't got time to watch these videos. But because I know what these videos are going to say, and it's just like, oh my God, you're right. It's just stupid. So, for those of you who watched, thank you. We'll see you guys next week. This presidency has proven to be chock full of things to say. And thank the Democrats for giving us other things to say.
Yes, for sure.
So one more thing, the cuss list, I'm the only one that said a bad word. I apologize. But I didn't go into a profanity-laced diatribe.
I said a couple too. My bad.
All right, guys. God bless America. God bless y'all.
Godspeed.
Justice Jackson, they captured Herman Goring alive.
Tell me about him.
He's the face of the Nazis. I'm going to put Goering on trial.
Never escapes a hangman's noose. Very sure of yourself. No man has ever beaten me.
Goering has to fall.
You don't just have to win, you have to be flawless.
You're walking into a trap.
Knowing what we know now, would you still follow Adolf Hitler?
Nuremberg, rated PG-13, now playing only in theaters.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.